Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fusion on Demand 2024. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about redesigning courses as blended to enhance student learning and success at my institution, McGill University. My name is Jasmine Parent. I am from McGill University, which is located in La Belle Province in Quebec, Canada. I am a learning technology consultant and instructional designer at Teaching and Learning Services. So for today's presentation, I will highlight the collaborative effort between McGill and D2L and the outcomes that occurred in enhancing learning experiences through blended course redesign. I will share how we maximized the use of D2L to design the online environment of the blended courses, and I will emphasize the crucial need to balance what looks good, what's aesthetic and user experience with sustainability and pedagogy. So about McGill, just to orient you a little bit on our institution, we are a public Canadian university with about 39,500 students enrolled. We employ about 2,100 instructors. The main campus of McGill is situated in downtown Montreal. It's a very beautiful campus. If you ever have a chance to visit Montreal, I highly encourage you to take a walk through the campus grounds. We have 11 faculties at the university. Now, this is a pre-designed slide, so it's not as important when we were founded and so on. But what I really want to highlight of our 11 faculties, to situate you a little bit more, I just want to give some very basic background on the faculty of the project that I'm going to be talking about today was carried out with. It's the Des Hôtels Faculty of Management. That faculty has about 3,000 students and 115 faculty members, and it offers a range of undergraduate and graduate level business programs, including the Bachelor's of Commerce, BCom, Master's of Business Administration, MBA. There are PhDs also available, and so on. Before we get into the details of the project, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. I know that we're all very likely aware of blended learning, the benefits that it brings, but I just want to share what McGill's approved definition of blended learning is. And it's teaching and learning activities that make up a combination of online and in-person course activities, both of which are necessary for students to achieve the learning outcomes of a course. And it usually results in the reduction of the number of in-person hours scheduled for a course. And at McGill, it's defined as where more than 15%, but less than 50% of the scheduled activities are online. And, as we know, blended learning is a residential experience for a university to have innovative and flexible options for students. The design decisions that go into designing or making a blended course are really meant to maximize the benefits of both the online and the in-person environment. So in other words, what components work best online and what components work best online will be designed to be online and vice versa for in-person components. And with that, I do want to talk a little bit about the shift that occurred at McGill in general, but specifically at the Des Hôtels Faculty of Management. So in fall 2021, we returned to campus after a year and a half of being fully remote. And during that remote period, many courses went through a kind of impromptu redesign phase that made use of the online environment. And many instructors, were forced to rethink a lot of their course components and ensure that the students were still getting a quality education. So when they returned to the in-person classes, they had really well-designed online elements or pedagogical strategies to their courses that they didn't want to lose. And a lot of these strategies offered both useful and flexible tools that benefited and were really highly valuable for both instructors and students. And during this time, many were seeing elements in courses that were best offered online, and some were seeing elements that were best offered in person. So there was this notion that we could possibly maintain courses that were designed to kind of have the best of both worlds. And this is a very basic evolution of this blended learning project that occurred with Desotel. Of course, there's a more complex and detailed timeline, which includes grant applications and funding, but we don't need to get into that level of detail for today. The main point is that the inception of the project began after the return to campus in fall 2021. A blended learning committee was formed at that time, and it worked to develop a solid pedagogical foundation for blended learning in the Desotel context. And after some time, the team at Desotel engaged D2L for a collaboration in redesigning 7 courses over the course of a year. And what's important to note here is that the faculty themselves they were the ones nominating their courses through an application process for blended learning redesign. With D2L, with the D2L contract was approximately 25 hours a week, which consisted of a project manager. They had a graphic designer, an instructional designer, courseware developers. They did create some videos. I think there was an animated video, but all other videos that were created were done on the McGill side. So the McGill team included, and it was an unofficial title, but a project manager, a video developer, and the subject matter expert, which was the instructors of the courses. They did complete the contract for 7 courses, and the contract with D2L ended after a year. However, there was still a lot of momentum in the faculty and an increased interest to have courses redesigned for blended. So this is where I come in. The collaboration with D2L ended, and then there was a transition from the instructional design team with D2L to teaching and learning services at McGill. And this is what our in-house course design team looks like today. So there's the lead instructional designer and courseware developer. I have that kind of in italics because it's sort of unofficial, but I do, and this is me. I do build a lot of the courses as well. An academic associate and project manager with Desotel with the Faculty of Management, and we still have the video development and course support from Desotel. And of course, we work with the instructor, the subject matter expert, on their course. So there are currently 11 plus courses that have been redesigned as blended. They are from a variety of areas in management. Some of them are from graduate courses, undergrad courses, and of varying levels of blended from 20 to 50%. And we have collected over 500 survey responses from students. We've had overwhelmingly positive feedback, and we've used this feedback and will use this feedback to inform our future offerings. So I want to show you a few of the courses, kind of a high-level overview, some of the courses that we've designed in just a snapshot. My colleague Angela created this video recently. It's only 45 seconds, but she just gives you a nice quick overview of a few of the courses that we've redesigned. You'll be able to see some of the interesting and custom elements that were created by D2L and where we've kind of taken those courses since then.
Our professionally designed blended courses strategically leverage technology to promote student engagement and achievement of learning outcomes. All courses incorporate online learning activities that are primarily asynchronous, including pre-recorded videos and interactive activities or knowledge checks. These components are built into branded templates in my courses that provide a polished structure and unique look and feel. Course structure is similar across blended courses, resulting in an ease of navigation and consistent support that reduces unnecessary cognitive load on students.
So I'm just going to slow down for a minute. from that video and give you kind of a snapshot, like stills of what the courses look like. So in this one, for example, you can see the custom icons that were created by D2L in the navigation bar, the custom banner image for the courses, which are consistent across all courses that are blended. You can see that there is a color scheme that was implemented. We used tabs for some of the recorded videos that instructors created for us. We have knowledge checks after, or some type of activity after the videos. I really leveraged Creator Plus here to create those knowledge checks or practice opportunities. We have used the interactive flip cards, other interactive content components, and other visually designed video elements. Again, you can see here accordions used. This is on a specific page. There's the tabs again for the videos, and which I will talk about in a second. I did use some external tools like Slido to embed polling questions. So this particular one is a word cloud. So you can see here how it's embedded directly in line with the content to kind of make a seamless sort of learning experience. Now, the transition from working with an external service like D2L to an internal one came with a lot of benefits, and as you would expect, some challenges. So some of the benefits included really well-designed templates, which created a consistent user experience and user interface throughout all of the courses. The custom graphics were beautiful and made the courses look very sharp and well designed. D2L also customized HTML blocks for us, which I'll show you an example of in a moment. And finally, there was a lot of positive feedback from both instructors and students on the design of those 7 initial courses. That's kind of why the momentum continued, and they opted to continue receiving applications for redesign and turn to the in-house instructional design team to continue the project. So this is an example of a course in my courses, which is our instance of D2L that was created for this project. So D2L created this course for us with all custom HTML blocks that we could use to import into the template codes of the course. So we had these blocks that we could copy directly from the template course, paste into the course that we were working on, and edit the content as needed. And this was very helpful for me when onboarding and learning how the first 7 courses were designed and built when I did get put onto the project. This did, and I do follow this with the challenges, because this did become one of the biggest sources of challenges, in that it did affect the sustainability of the process of designing and running these courses. Because there was a level of complexity on how the courses were designed and built, unless you were trained in modifying and maintaining the course components, including the HTML codes, it was a little bit difficult. And because we currently have limited resources, the expectation should not be that I'm the only one who can modify or maintain the online environments. So with that, I did notice that there was a bit of a challenge with the transition of the ownership of the courses to the instructors, and I'll go into how I dealt with that a little bit in the next few slides. Finally, and kind of along with what I just said, this really mostly came down to challenges with the HTML coding. So I'm an instructional designer. I'm not a coder. However, I do pride myself on, being able to figure things out. So I taught myself some basic coding principles for this particular project. And with that said, and similar to what I said before, unless you have HTML coding training, simple tasks of modifying the templates and activities would kind of hit this bottleneck at the people who had some familiarity with this type of coding. And at the end of the day, we can't expect instructors to learn code to manage their own courses. So I therefore felt that this created a major problem in the sustainability of the whole blended course redesign process, and is what I wanted to focus the remainder of this presentation on. I chose to address the sustainability challenge in a few ways, and I'll explore each of these strategies in more detail. So the first way that I address the sustainability challenge is that I really see the value in leveraging Creator Plus whenever possible. Some of the features or elements of Creator Plus weren't available during the first implementation of this project, but they have gotten better. And as Creator Plus becomes more sophisticated, I am absolutely going to opt to use it in all possible instances rather than dealing with some of those finicky code blocks. In terms of user friendliness, Creator Plus is like out of the park more friendly than HTML codes. And I think I honestly grew gray hairs trying to manage those code elements and those templates. And as you know, it's not to bash the hard work of creating those code blocks or the level of sophistication that they're at, but rather just highlight that most people don't have the skills or the background required to be editing HTML code. So since Creator Plus is so user-friendly and makes the templates easy to use, the more features and the more customizable it becomes, the easier it will be to use the more complex interactive and practice blocks that can be edited or updated by the instructor if needed. I also explored a variety of other tools. So one of the benefits of having an in-house instructional design support model is the access that we have to other supported tools at McGill. And I chose to integrate some external tools for engagement activities. As you saw a glimpse of earlier, tools like Slido, I used them to implement and embed polls into the content. I used Padlet to create very visual and inline discussions in the content tab. I used Perusal for interactive reading opportunities and feedback fruits for peer assessment. And I used other tools as they came up as needed. And these tools were integrated usually in the design of the online elements and assessments of the course. So this one is really just to drive home, simplify, simplify, simplify. So I like to apply the KISS method to the design of online elements of blended courses. There are a few reasons why I do this. The flashy and aesthetic components may look great, but may not always be functional or have real pedagogical benefit. And it's not to say that aesthetics don't matter. They do, and they matter in that they guide students, through the content in an effective way. But if a decision comes down to using Creator Plus or using a custom HTML code block based on the accent color being consistent with the overall design or not, I'm going to absolutely go with using Creator Plus, even if the accent color it gives me isn't exactly what we want. And I say this because it was an actual example of the decisions that had to be made at some points in our design process. I do hope that Creator Plus does become more customizable in terms of some of these small details, but at the end of the day, it's better to opt for what makes the most sense in terms of sustainability. In addition, this leads me to my final point. We do want to design a course that can be effectively transferred to the instructor when it's time to go live. And, it's not the instructional design team's course, but the instructor's course. And it was built with our support, yes, but it's not, the ownership is not ours. So if I design it in a way that's too complicated for the instructor to manage or update, it's not sustainable. Which leads me to this point. This is why I like to increase instructor involvement in the design and development process. I like to include them in design-making decisions, including, choosing content elements or learning tools that will be used to carry out the teaching and assessment strategies. it's important that they're comfortable in their own course and that they have a solid understanding of its elements. We aim to have as little reliance on us as possible when the course is running and when the course is being reoffered. So this is something I really think is truly valuable, including the instructor significantly in the design process. These are the key takeaways from this presentation that I really hope that I've gotten across. I think that it's crucial to consider and balance short-term with long-term. We can get really caught up in making decisions that give us short-term wins, like aesthetics and a flashy course, but leave us with long-term losses potentially, or challenges like limited resources or skills to manage and update the content. I think there's a lot of value in not getting too lost in aesthetics. Aesthetics are important in terms of, organization and functionality of a course, but we can spend a lot of time creating things that look nice, but are not truly good instructional design decisions. The goal at the end of the day is always that it's there are pedagogical benefits and not only aesthetics. And the main key point that I want to drive home is that the long-term sustainability should be top consideration. And this is truly a balancing act. But from this experience, and this is the most important message I think we need to consider when designing or redesigning a blended course or even an online learning environment. I hope that this or some of this resonated with you. I had a lot of fun creating this presentation and reflecting on my own process as an instructional designer, especially in this particular project. If you have questions, comments, or ideas for me, or you just want to touch base and network, you can contact me, Jasmine.Parent at McGill.ca. I would like to give a special thanks to my colleagues who were instrumental in this process. They're Dr. Angela Guadagno and Dr. Katie Kotar, who are academic associates at TLS, who are involved with the faculty partnership that we have between the Des Hotels Faculty of Management and Teaching and Learning Services. They managed this pilot project at different stages throughout its journey. I currently work directly with Angela on a weekly basis. You would have heard her voice in the video previously. And we're in the process of redesigning 3 other courses that are going to be offered in fall 2024. So thank you to them, and thank you to you for joining me and listening to this Fusion On Demand presentation.